before any sort of finishing, I'm going to give it a rub over with this very fine sandpaper. And I literally mean that, just a quick rub like that. And that's so that none of these edges are hard to the touch. So I'm not sanding it, although you can if you want. Just making sure everything's tactile. And then I'm going to add my beeswax finish. I'll put a link below to where else in the site you can find the beeswax. It's the beeswax recipe. It's quite thin. I put it on with this old hairdryer, warm it up, I put it on, I'll warm it up and it'll soak into the wood, and I'll take excess off with this rag here. So, a bit noisy, let's go. So I've come right down here onto the background wood, the backing board. I think you can see that the colours really come out nicely, very nice. So that's going to be a little bit tacky to begin with, as that goes off, but eventually that will dry and you can buff the whole thing up like this. Now it might be that we need to do a little bit of touch up when we get this off the wood, but that's the best place I think to do it before we actually take it off. Now here comes the exciting bit where we take it off the backing board, and to do that we've got to split this paper. The best way is with something like this or this. These are spatulas. This is just a paint scraper, and I've slightly sharpened it. In other words, normally the paint scraper is a bit flat, it's got a flat edge, but this has got a little bit of a sharp edge. Not enough to carve with, but just enough so that I can find the paper, which I have to find, and then work my way into the paper like this. Sometimes I need to use a mallet like this. Sometimes I can just push. Now the important thing here is that this board has to be still, fixed, and then as we push this in you want to keep it flat on the board. You don't want to lift and prise like that. Especially over here, these are short grain, and we've got to be careful we slide this and not split it. So I'm going to work that in there like that. And let me just show you this longer one. That can go in there. And you just work it around like this, and so on. So I would probably do some part there, then I would turn this around. And I'd very carefully find it here. You can get a sense of where this paper is running because it just eases its way through. You see it's coming through here like this. Let's move this along on here. I'll just work from the side, so let me just move this around here. I do like these dogs in the bench. I think they're such a useful thing to have. Okay, so I've done this part here. So let me work over here. So I'm going to find that paper. I think we're nearly there. As I said, it's very tempting to sort of lever, but you definitely don't want to do that. There's the paper splitting. And there it is. And you can see the board here. That's where I've cut into the wood. There's a nice stabbed outline. And there's the paper split. And there's the back of the paper here. So to get this paper off here, the best thing to do is to get yourself a piece of sandpaper onto a board, something flat, and then just rub this like this, and that will take it off. And then you need to just check the edges, and that'll be finished. There's the back with the paper taken off. You might need a little knife just to clean those corners. That's always a problem. The very tight corners there, and perhaps just here on this belt or whatever we're calling it here. Other than that, we'll check the edges for the wax, but there's the carving finished. And we can mount that on a board, or we can hang it free, whatever we like to do with it.